This is not just a story about loss. This is a story about a criminal justice system that continues to fail victims long after a crime has been committed. My daughter, Queen Ashby, her life was taken from her by a man named Shawrae Butler on April 1st of 2017. And recently I had to speak at the parole board hearing for Shawrae Butler. Well, now here, just literally, I don't even think it's been 2 weeks. 2 weeks later, because he was denied parole. So 2 weeks later, now I'm receiving notice that he is being considered for a community corrections program, basically a halfway house. This is a man that has had zero remorse. He literally just got into an altercation just this April, right before the parole board hearing with another inmate. And now this is a person that they are still considering releasing back into the community. So, just 2 weeks ago, I had to go before the parole board to speak on behalf of my daughter, Queen Ashby, um, in hopes of being able to convince the parole board that this guy is totally not ready for parole. So, the parole board hearing in itself was just a completely crazy, wild experience. So it's not what you think it is, or maybe what you've seen on television. I don't know if the pandemic just like really messed things up, but I was not allowed to be there. I had to speak over phone, and it wasn't even Skype over phone, it was literally just over a call bridge. But once the call bridge was like connected, and I'm listening in, then that's where I discover that, the family is in person, and, just a whole bunch of support that is allowed to be given to the criminal, as to where me on the victim side kind of felt like there was no support that's given to the victims. Everything, I guess that's the reason why they call it the criminal justice system, because the only people that they are looking forward to giving justice and making sure that they don't have their rights violated, essentially is the criminal. So I thought that that was quite interesting, that I wasn't allowed to be there. And really, I was the only person that was allowed to speak on behalf of my daughter, being the only relative. So, like, no one else was allowed to speak. Other people could write letters, but no one else was allowed to speak. So, the way that it worked was he said his little spiel or whatever and gave the reasons why he feels like he should be paroled. And then friends and family members were allowed to additionally speak on his behalf and plea for his release. It was very disheartening to hear because there was literally no remorse coming from this guy. I mean, like, absolutely not one drop. So that was just kind of very disheartening. So after him and his family members and supporters spoke, then like I was put into a separate call line with the parole officer. I don't know if they're a judge, but the parole board officer, and then the victim's advocate. They always have like a victim's advocate that like calls and kind of tells you the spiel or what's going to go on. So, you know, that's where like I get the opportunity to say what I was going to say. And you know, your feelings kind of change once you hear what this person is saying, and just the complete lack of remorse. But I know me, I was trying to be able to stay on track, and I kind of pre-written my statement. So I went ahead and read my pre-written statement. And I'm like trying to keep it together. It probably took me way longer than was necessarily to read the statement, because I'm bawling my eyes out, just because I'm just back with this rush of emotions, you know, that I just face every day with the loss of my queen, of my baby. So, you know, I'm literally pouring my heart out to this faceless person over the phone, you know, and just telling them about the loss. Not that even just I have suffered, but just the loss that my granddaughter has suffered, and the fact that she will never be able to know her mother through personal memories. She'll just only be able to know her mother through other people's memories of her, and photos, you know, and it's not right. It's not fair. And I thought that what I had said had made some sort of impact. And I guess that it did for about 10 days, because, yeah, he was essentially denied parole. Now that even crazy thing, because he was only like denied it for a year. I'm telling you guys, I don't mess with the police. I've always been a person that has raised my kids to, you know, not break the law, and be respectful of police. I was raised that way. That's a way that I've always been. You know, I don't know why, because if you're a criminal, it feels like you have way more rights and you're way more protected than, you know, any old Joe Schmo that's actually trying to do right. You know, it seems like the criminal route is the best way. But he was essentially denied parole, I thought, until I received this letter in the mail. Well, I didn't receive it in the mail yet. I'm sure it will come probably tomorrow. But I received an email from the courts telling me that he is being considered for the Colorado Corrections Program, an early release program. I'm telling you guys, I literally had to run it by my secretary, you know, ChatGPT. I uploaded the PDF into ChatGPT and asked her, you know, to kind of explain it to me, because I'm thinking, well, maybe this is something that, like, it was a process that he had to do, and like the email got mistaken, are lost in the loop, and like, this was something that was before the parole denial. And nope, 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 no. It's 100% a completely different person program that literally the state of Colorado and the Colorado Board of Corrections is deciding that this person that was literally just denied parole 10 days ago would be a good candidate for a release program or a halfway house program, or even, get this, an electronic monitoring program that basically just gives this man his freedom after only serving 8 years for taking someone's life. And I don't even want to tell you guys how, but by taking someone's life and rolling their body up and driving them up into the mountains and dumping them like they were a piece of trash. He's never said why. And we didn't go through the entire trial because during pre-trial he accepted a plea deal. And it's funny because, like, I was listening to a recent news article about the young people in Idaho whose lives were taken from them, and how the parents were both sitting on two different sides of the fence because that young man accepted a plea deal. And I remember, I know exactly what those parents are feeling like that did not stand in agreement with the plea deal, because I didn't stand in agreement with it either, but I was very quickly put in my position and let it be known by the DA that it is not my case. So hopefully you've never been in this situation, but just to let you know, when you have a loved one or someone that's like killed, and the state is actually taking the case, then because you're not paying the DA is not your lawyer, the DA is the lawyer that acts on behalf of the state. Well, then, their job is just to win their case by any means necessary. And just because you, as the victim, don't necessarily agree with even the way that they're going about things, or the plea bargain or the plea deal that is being offered, they, just because they tell you about it and consult you with what they're going to offer, if you don't agree, that doesn't mean that they can't offer that. So just a little bit of insight, if you didn't know, because it wasn't something that I knew. It was just, the whole criminal justice system is sucky, and I hope that you never ever ever have to go through it, or be a part of it, because it definitely, as far as my experience as a mother whose child was taken from them, it's awful. Not, you think that you only have to face and go through, fighting your own just sadness for your loss, but you never think, like when I got the initial letter in the mail for the parole board hearing, I was like, God, he hasn't even been there half the time. that he was sentenced to. How is it possible that he's already up for parole? You know, it just literally doesn't make sense. And with this letter, I'm telling you, I truly, honestly just now feel like all that the government does is try to just release criminals. You know, what is the point of continuing to try to make our communities unsafe by releasing? And I mean, I'm not, it's not like he, you know, it was a traffic violation or anything. You took somebody's life, for God's sakes, and you've only spent 8 years, and it's like the government is jumping through hoops to set you free so that you can offend again. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm mad. I want to say something else, but I'm going to keep it clean. I'm sad. My heart is broken. And I really just am 100% at a loss. So now, once again, because he is up for community corrections, they've given me the option. So with this one, it's not even a phone call. I don't even get to speak. I get to write a letter. I get to write a letter. But they didn't say that nobody else could write a letter. They didn't say that I was the only one that could write a letter. So I need you guys to write a letter. I am going to leave all of the information linked below. And I even think that I'm going to get my secretary to draft a couple of different template options that can be easily downloaded, and I am going to put those into the details of this video. And I'm asking for help because I'm at my wit's end and I don't know what to do. And even though I don't think that the government listens to us at all, you know, I'm asking, I don't even know how much a stamp costs nowadays, so I apologize because I haven't mailed anything because I do everything electronically. But if you just feel enlightened, or, you know, just would like to help, because I feel like when there's some kind of power, there's power in help. And I don't know how many letters that I can get over to the Colorado Corrections Department. Oh, the other thing is they gave me 20 days, so I have to give them a response by July 28th. So yeah, July 28th. And if not, you know, they can, I think that they just want to. So I would love your support. Please, if you have any questions at all, leave them below in the comments. I did record the actual parole board hearing. I don't know if I can put it up necessarily on like this side, but maybe I'll think of a way that I can put it like on a back end or something to share with you guys. But yeah, if you do have any questions at all, I'm an open book. This is my story. This is the story of my daughter. This is the story of my life right now. So thank you for your support. Thank you for watching if you have made it to this point. And as usual, be blessed, have a blessed day, and most importantly, do what you can to bless someone else's day.